Could this be a push? Could this be a final push for a sign of things to come? Lynne Roberts, head coach, LA Sparks, planting seeds in the ground for Caitlin Clark to blossom and eventually put on a LA Sparks uniform. The talks were once hot.
The Los Angeles Sparks, a franchise that many fans had dismissed over the past few seasons, are now making what appears to be a bold effort to position themselves as an attractive destination for Caitlin Clark. Leading that vision is newly hired head coach Lynne Roberts, who spent 9 successful years transforming Utah into one of college basketball's strongest programs before taking on the challenge of coaching in the WNBA. Roberts is determined to reshape the Sparks into a legitimate contender, and her ambitious approach has fueled speculation that the organization wants to build a roster capable of attracting elite talent like Clark in the future. Whether that possibility ever becomes reality remains to be seen, but the Sparks are clearly signaling that they intend to become one of the league's most competitive franchises under Roberts' leadership.
Caitlin Clark traded to LA. A nightmare situation for Indiana. Is this actually happening? Looking at the YouTube WNBA influencers, they are convinced that Caitlin Clark will be traded to the LA Sparks. The thought process here is that Adam Silva doesn't like what's going on in Indiana. Caitlin Clark is too big of a ticket for Indiana, a small market. So they're going to move Clark out of there, move her to LA, and get a bigger, better TV contract next year. Whatever's going to happen is going to.
It starts with one of the boldest moves the league has seen in years. The Los Angeles Sparks, a franchise many had dismissed after several disappointing seasons, are now making a determined effort to lure Caitlin Clark away from the Indiana fever. Leading that effort is newly appointed head coach Lynne Roberts, who spent nearly a decade transforming Utah into a national contender before making the jump to the WNBA. Her arrival has sparked immediate speculation about the team's ambitions. This isn't internet gossip or late-night fan speculation. It's a legitimate storyline involving recognizable names and serious basketball conversations. And as the discussion grows louder, many observers believe the idea of Clark eventually leaving Indiana is no longer as unrealistic as it once seemed. After everything she's reportedly dealt with this season, the possibility of a fresh start in Los Angeles is beginning to feel, to some, like a realistic path rather than an impossible dream.
Word on the street is Caitlin Clark is going to be traded soon. And if you follow the rabbit hole, it all sounds real. It all sounds on purpose. And it all makes sense. Caitlin Clark to LA Sparks.
Let's break down everything that's happening. We'll examine what the Los Angeles Sparks are trying to accomplish, how Stephanie White's coaching decisions are being viewed from the outside, and why so many people believe the WNBA has failed to properly protect its biggest star. We'll also explore why, for the first time, some fans and analysts are openly questioning whether the Indiana Fever are the right long-term home for Caitlin Clark. Recent speculation linking Clark to Los Angeles has continued to gain attention, although there is no confirmed indication that a trade or move is currently being pursued by either franchise.
If Caitlin goes to LA, what do you guys think? I mean, she'd be back with what, Cameron Brink? Kelsey Plum is over there. Kate Martin is there right now. They have some good players. I just don't know if Caitlin Clark is an LA girl. I mean, she's definitely a Midwest, person. Will she fit in LA? I mean, with Cam and that team, I don't know. Maybe the spotlight.
Lynne Roberts is far from an inexperienced coach stepping into the spotlight. Before taking over the Los Angeles Sparks, she spent 9 successful seasons at Utah, transforming the program into a consistent NCAA tournament contender and earning a reputation as one of the top program builders in women's basketball. The Sparks brought her in with one clear objective: return the franchise to championship contention. From the moment she arrived, Roberts has wasted no time putting her vision into action. She has been aggressive in reshaping the roster, beginning with signing Kate Martin, Caitlin Clark's former Iowa teammate, and converting Martin's training camp contract into a full WNBA roster spot. Roberts also added Kiana Williams while openly discussing her long-term plans to build a competitive, winning culture in Los Angeles. Her strategy makes one thing clear: she wants a true franchise superstar, someone capable of transforming both the team's success and its business value overnight. With all the attention surrounding Caitlin Clark's current situation, many observers believe Roberts sees a rare opportunity, one that could dramatically change the future of the Sparks if it ever became available.
Well, man, if you haven't heard, Kate Money Martin, man, just got signed to a standard contract with the LA Sparks, man. And this was much deserved and needed because the WNBA needs Kate Martin on a team. And they had to make room to do this, so thank you to Nia Latson. But we talking about Kate Martin. We already know from Iowa with the face of the league, the baby goat, Caitlin Clark. Also, one of the people that have the top selling basketball jerseys in the WNBA and has had it since she came in. But she also has the skill to be on a team. So this is good, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people is happy about this sign.
What makes this storyline more intriguing is that the Sparks' recent moves have fueled speculation beyond simple roster building. One of the biggest talking points is the signing of Kate Martin, Caitlin Clark's former Iowa teammate. Martin played alongside Clark throughout Iowa's historic run and already understands her style, tendencies, and on-court chemistry. Because of that connection, many fans have interpreted the move as more than adding depth to the roster. To some observers, bringing in Martin sends a broader message. It suggests the Sparks are assembling a culture and supporting casts that could appeal to elite talent in the future. Rather than waiting for opportunities to arise, the organization appears focused on creating an environment where a superstar could fit in immediately. While Lynne Roberts has never publicly suggested the team is pursuing Caitlin Clark, her roster decisions have naturally sparked conversation. Whether those moves are simply part of a long-term rebuilding plan or something more ambitious remains speculation, but they have certainly given fans plenty to discuss about the direction Los Angeles is trying to take.
I'm pissed. After tonight's game, I'm pissed, and I'm clearly not alone in my sentiments, but the league has a serious officiating issue, and the fact that the way that they treat their generational talent is truly disgusting. The calls tonight were insane, or the no calls tonight were insane.
To understand why the Los Angeles Sparks would be interested in Caitlin Clark, you first have to look at what she's accomplishing in 2026. Through 17 games, Clark is averaging a career-best 21.2 points per contest while earning her third consecutive All-Star selection. Indiana has remained in the playoff race with an 11-8 record, and at just 24 years old, Clark is already performing at a level that places her among the elite guards in women's basketball. Beyond the numbers, her influence is unmatched. She continues to be the biggest television draw in the sport, with the Fever's June 6th matchup against the Liberty averaging 2.557 million viewers on CBS, the most-watched WNBA game of the season on any network and the second most-watched women's basketball broadcast since 2000. Yet despite her individual brilliance, questions surrounding Indiana's coaching decisions have continued to grow. One of the biggest talking points came during the May 31st game against the Portland Fire, when head coach Stephanie White pulled Clark early in the first quarter. Without their star on the floor, the Fever eventually suffered a 100-84 defeat. The situation gained even more attention during a second-quarter timeout, when television cameras captured what appeared to be a tense conversation between Clark and White. Clark looked visibly frustrated while White passionately explained her decision, and the clip quickly spread across social media, leaving fans wondering whether the franchise player and her coach were truly on the same page. After the game, White explained that Clark's substitution was part of a planned rotation connected to Aaliyah Boston's minutes restriction, insisting there was no internal conflict. Both she and Clark described the exchange as nothing more than competitive communication. Even so, the explanation did little to quiet the discussion. Pulling your most important offensive weapon early in a game that ends in a 16-point loss naturally raises questions, and the viral timeout exchange only intensified the scrutiny. Regardless of how both sides characterized the moment, many fans were left asking the same question: is Stephanie White maximizing Caitlin Clark's talent and putting her in the best possible position to succeed?
A generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had two cheap shots right there. that weren't called. And I just say, again, absolutely unacceptable.
Steph, do you think that the league needs to look into how Caitlin Clark is defended or how she's officiated going forward?
I mean, we spent all offseason looking at officiating. All offseason. And I still say the one thing that we keep asking for is consistency. She is not called the same way everybody else is called.
Clark's 2026 season has been shaped by extraordinary performances, but also by a growing series of setbacks that have sparked league-wide debate. Before the latest incident, she had already appeared on the injury report as probable for 13 different games because of an ongoing back issue. For a 24-year-old player entering what should be the prime years of her career, the constant physical concerns have raised questions about workload, recovery, and how the Indiana Fever are managing their franchise cornerstone. Instead of enjoying a healthy breakout season, Clark has repeatedly found herself battling injuries while still carrying one of the league's biggest offensive responsibilities. The situation reached another level during Indiana's June 24th matchup against the Phoenix Mercury. In a loose ball scramble, Alyssa Thomas appeared to strike Clark in the throat with a closed fist before stepping over her as she lay on the floor. Officials allowed play to continue without calling a foul, a decision that immediately drew criticism from fans, analysts, and the Fever coaching staff. Head coach Stephanie White later described the missed calls as egregious, arguing that Clark absorbed multiple unnecessary hits while officials focused more on reviewing Clark's own actions than addressing the contact against her. The WNBA later suspended Thomas for one game, but many observers questioned whether that punishment matched the seriousness of the incident. Clark was forced to miss the following 2 games after her lingering back injury was aggravated during that contest, adding yet another chapter to a season filled with both remarkable basketball and constant physical challenges.
It was intense though. Like, I feel like, yes, just like you said about basketball, like, it was a flagrant 2, Like, that should have never been done. Like, you don't put your hand in someone's throat and like damn near kick them on the floor. Like, it's a basketball game. Like, what are we doing? Like, and so obviously that was the right call. And as for the death threats, like, it's so.
I've been on the other side of those, Aaliyah. Like,
Yeah.
I've been on the side of some players' rough play. So if there's anybody that could probably speak about this and being roughed up and being like disrespected and whatever, it's probably me. But in terms of taking it farther than that, it's just like, what are we doing?
This is where the conversation moves beyond ordinary basketball controversy and into something much bigger. Sports journalist Sirat Sohi of The Ringer argued that the system itself has been working against Caitlin Clark, claiming that some players resent her, referees have failed to offer consistent protection, and league officials have been slow to publicly address what many see as repeated mistreatment. This wasn't a random opinion posted online. It came from a respected reporter who covers the WNBA for one of the nation's leading sports outlets. The issue became even more serious when 11 Republican lawmakers, led by U.S. Representative August Pfluger of Texas, sent a letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert on July 7th demanding answers. They referred to Clark as the face of your league and pointed to incidents involving hip checks, eye pokes, and the throat contact as examples of unnecessary physical aggression. The lawmakers even suggested that the U.S. Department of Justice could become involved if the situation were found to involve potential civil rights concerns, giving Engelbert until July 24th to respond. When members of Congress are officially questioning whether the league is doing enough to protect one of its biggest stars, it shows just how far this story has escalated beyond the basketball court.
I thought you're a young, wonderful basketball player.
The best.
Caitlin, I thought that she was treated rather rough, if you want to know the truth. That was a much different kind of an event. That was a pretty bad event.
Thanks.
But in this case, he didn't do anything
And
wrong.
do you know how bad the WNBA has to be doing when our president has to stop his busy schedule to talk about the WNBA? What? Good thing it was Caitlin, because if it wasn't for Caitlin, he would have had no reason to speak about the WNBA. That's just fact.
Then, right in the middle of all this chaos, someone finally voiced an opinion that stunned almost everyone. In late June, Yahoo Sports published an article arguing that the WNBA would actually be better off without Caitlin Clark. Their reasoning was that Clark had already accomplished everything the league needed from her. She helped bring charter flights to players, boosted momentum for the new collective bargaining agreement, shattered television ratings, and attracted millions of new fans. According to that argument, the league should now be able to thrive without depending on the popularity of one superstar. But many viewed that as one of the most unbelievable opinions ever expressed in sports media. The suggestion that a professional league would somehow be stronger without its biggest attraction, highest-rated player, and most influential draw simply because she had already contributed enough left fans and analysts questioning how anyone could seriously believe such a claim.
Caitlin Clark being sabotaged by this trash-ass head coach, this trash-ass organization. Trade her already. Just trade her. This is garbage, bro. I'm sick of watching this stuff. She was sabotaged today. The most she played was 3 minutes and 10 seconds at one time. That is sabotage. It's malpractice. There was no point in her even playing today if this is the plan. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
Here's the contract situation, and it's an important part of the story. Before the current season even started, the Indiana Fever exercised Caitlin Clark's team option for the 2027 campaign, guaranteeing her a salary of $597,596 for that year. Once the 2027 season ends, she'll become a restricted free agent. That status allows Indiana to match any contract another team offers, but it doesn't stop rival franchises from making aggressive bids in the first place. Teams like the Los Angeles Sparks understand that 2028 could be the first real opportunity to pursue Clark, which is why they're already laying the groundwork. Every roster move, every statement about competing for championships, and every long-term decision appears to be part of preparing for that moment. Publicly, Clark has remained composed throughout it all. She hasn't criticized the Fever organization, questioned management, or created unnecessary drama. She has handled every situation like a true professional. But behind that professionalism is a 24-year-old superstar who has spent the last 3 seasons watching a league that many believe has too often failed to protect her while repeatedly allowing her to become the target of physical play. At the same time, the Sparks are quietly presenting a vision of what a different future could look like.
So, first of all, I know what you guys are going to ask, and I did think it was a flagrant foul, and our reffing just needs to be better, and it's tough. Obviously, the refs are in a really difficult spot. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world, in my opinion, is to make calls. All you do is get yelled at the whole time by everybody. You're never winning. So I think for us, as the league's just got to do better protecting our players in that regard. I don't really think that it was up for debate. Obviously, it wasn't called in real time. You go back and watch the clip. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of been a discussion for like 3 years now, and I think we really need to do a better job protecting the people in this league. And, obviously I've been involved in a few of those plays, but there's been plenty others across the league that, haven't got called, go back and post-game or whatever it is. Teams commit clips, nothing really changes. So I think overall the league just has to do better. And
Clark returned to practice and spoke to reporters with the same calm, professional approach that has defined her career. She made it clear that the WNBA must do a better job of protecting its players, stressing that officiating needs to improve while also condemning the harassment directed toward other players in the aftermath of recent controversies. Even while sidelined with an injury, Clark chose to focus on solutions instead of fueling more division. That response reflects the type of leader she has become. Despite missing games, she continues to average more than 21 points per contest, fills arenas wherever she plays, and drives television ratings to levels the WNBA had never experienced before her arrival. Her commitment has always been about winning and helping the game grow. That's exactly why organizations across the league understand her value. Lynne Roberts and the Los Angeles Sparks know that acquiring a player like Clark could instantly transform a franchise. If the Indiana Fever and the WNBA fail to recognize that they are giving rival teams reasons to pursue their biggest star, they may eventually pay a heavy price. A player who consistently delivers results deserves to feel like a top priority, and if one organization cannot provide that environment, another will gladly step in.